Welcome to the School of the Lost Tribes. For the chosen of the Most High, who need to study to show themselves approved unto the Messiah, sign up at schooloftheLostTribes.teachable.com. The ruling government of the 12 disciples, prophets, and the 144,000 under Yahweh Shai. In the coming kingdom, Yahweh will establish a divine government led by Yahweh Shai, under whom the 12 disciples, the prophets, and the 144,000 elect will rule. This government will be structured according to the order of the 12 tribes of Israel, with 12,000 chosen men from each tribe, making up the 144,000. These rulers will govern the Israelite nation on earth and exercise dominion over the heathen nations, fulfilling the prophetic restoration of Israel's divine rulership. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. And they shall dwell therein, even they, and their children, and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Ezekiel 37:24-25. Verse by verse breakdown. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. This does not refer to the literal King David, but to the Messiah, Yahweh Shai, who comes from David's lineage. The name David is symbolic of the promised ruler from David's house. See Jeremiah 39. The one shepherd refers to Yahweh Shai uniting the scattered tribes of Israel, which aligns with his declaration in John 10:16, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. This confirms that the kingdom and rulership of Yahweh Shai are for Israel, not for a universal doctrine including all nations. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. This indicates that the Israelites, under Yahweh Shai's rule, will return to full obedience to the laws of Yahweh. The so-called New Covenant, Jeremiah 31:31, does not abolish the laws, but renews them within the hearts of Israel. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. The regathering of Israel into their ancestral land is a key prophecy. This is not a metaphorical or spiritualized inheritance. It refers to the literal land promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they shall dwell therein, even they, and their children, and their children's children forever. The kingdom of Yahweh Shai is an eternal dominion over Israel. It confirms that Israel is the focus of biblical prophecy, not any other people. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. This confirms that the ruling king is Yahweh Shai, a descendant of David, who reigns over Israel perpetually. This aligns with Luke 1:32-33, where the angel tells Mary that Yahweh Shai will sit on the throne of his father David and reign over the house of Jacob forever. Conclusion. This passage firmly establishes that the Messiah, referred to as David, is the divinely appointed king of Israel, ruling over the regathered and restored Israelites. There is no mention of a spiritualized kingdom that includes non-Israelites. The covenant remains exclusive to the descendants of Jacob, in accordance with the promises made to the patriarchs. The concept of typology in biblical prophecy is essential for understanding how figures like King David symbolically represent the Messiah, Yahweh Shai. Typology is when a person, event, or institution in the Old Testament serves as a foreshadowing of a greater spiritual reality that is later fulfilled. In the case of Ezekiel 37:24-25, where it says, And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. It is important to recognize that David had already died when Ezekiel wrote this prophecy. This means that David is being used as a symbolic name to refer to the future, eternal king of Israel, Yahweh Shai. the student must comprehend that biblical prophecy often speaks in symbolic and prophetic duality, meaning there is an initial fulfillment in an Old Testament figure, David, but a greater fulfillment in the Messiah. One way to recognize this is by looking at the nature of the prophecy itself. For example, when the scripture speaks of an everlasting kingdom, it cannot be referring to a mortal man like David, since no human reigns forever. Instead, this must refer to Yahawah, who is of David's lineage but reigns eternally, as confirmed in Luke 1:32-33, where it states that Yahawah will inherit the throne of his father David and rule over Israel forever. Another important example of typology in Scripture is Moses, who serves as a foreshadowing of Yahawah. Just as Moses led Israel out of physical captivity in Egypt, Yahawah leads Israel out of spiritual bondage from sin. This connection is directly referenced in Deuteronomy 18:18, where Yahweh declares that he will raise up a prophet like Moses, which is later confirmed in Acts 3:22 as referring to Yahawah. Likewise, the Passover lamb is another strong biblical type that points to the Messiah. In the time of Exodus, the Israelites were saved by the blood of the lamb during Passover, and this foreshadows how Yahawah's blood would be the ultimate atonement for Israel, as seen in 1 Corinthians 5:7, where he is referred to as our Passover. To properly understand these prophetic symbols, a student must develop 3 key skills. First, they must always check the historical context of the passage. If a prophecy mentions David long after his death, it is likely referring to Yahawah. Second, they should analyze whether the prophecy speaks of an eternal fulfillment, such as an everlasting kingdom, which cannot apply to a mortal figure like David. Finally, they must compare Old Testament types to New Testament fulfillments to see how Yahawah completes the foreshadowed figure. By applying these methods, students will gain a deeper understanding of how the scriptures consistently point to Yahawah as the true and eternal King of Israel, fulfilling all that was foreshadowed in David and other key figures of the past. The 12 disciples as rulers over Israel. One of the clearest scriptures confirming the rulership of the 12 disciples is Matthew 19:28, where Yahawah directly tells them of their future role. Matthew 19:28. And Yahawah said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me, in the regeneration when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. This verse establishes that the 12 disciples will be given authority over the 12 tribes of Israel. They will serve as governors under Yahawah, ensuring that the nation of Israel is properly ruled according to divine law. This parallels with the rulership given to King David, who was chosen to govern Israel with Yahawah's authority. Ezekiel 37:24-25 affirms that David's throne will be re-established under Yahawah, the 144,000, the elect rulers over Israel and the heathen. Beyond the 12 disciples, there will be an elect class of 144,000 rulers, 12,000 from each tribe, who will govern the Israelite nation and execute judgment upon the heathen. Revelation 7:4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. These 144,000 men are chosen for leadership and government in the kingdom. Yahweh has ordained them to be priests, kings, and judges to execute divine law over the nations. This structure aligns with the promise given in Revelation 5:10, which states, Revelation 5:10, And hast made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. This means that Israelite men will not only rule over their own nation, but will also govern the heathen with righteous authority. The rulership of Israel will extend over all nations, forcing them into obedience under Yahweh's laws. Rulership over the heathen nations. As prophesied throughout the Old and New Testament, the nations that once oppressed Israel will become servants under Israelite rule. Isaiah 14:1-2. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. This passage confirms that Israel will rule over the heathen nations. The 12 disciples, the 144,000, and other chosen laborers will govern with Yahweh Shai, ensuring that nations submit to the divine order. Another powerful prophecy confirming this rulership is found in Psalms 2:8-9, where Yahweh Shai is given authority over the heathen. Psalms 2:8-9. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. This ruling rod of iron represents strict governance and control over the nations. The heathen will be forced to obey the laws of Yahweh, and any rebellion will be crushed. This is reiterated in Revelation 2:26-27, where the elect, those who overcome, will share in this rulership. Revelation 2:26-27. And he that overcometh, and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. Here Yahweh Shai promises rulership to his chosen, who will govern with the same authority given to him by Yahweh, the kingdom as the government of Israel on earth. This divine rulership will not be a mystical spiritual reign, but a literal government on earth, where Israel will be the dominant nation, and the heathen will be subjected under their rule. Daniel 7:27. And the kingdom and dominion, and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven, shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. The saints, Israelites, will inherit the earth, ruling in righteousness with Yahweh Shai at the head. This aligns with Zechariah 14:16-17, which states that even the heathen nations will be required to worship Yahweh and keep his laws. Zechariah 14:16-17. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And it shall be, that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. This proves that the kingdom of Yahweh will be enforced upon the whole earth, and all nations will be governed by Israelite rulers under Yahweh Shai. The judgment of the nations that oppressed Israel and the restoration of the earth under Yahweh Shai. From the beginning, the nations of the earth have oppressed the chosen people of Yahweh, the Israelites. Through slavery, war, deception, and exploitation, they have ruled unjustly, spreading wickedness and corruption across the world. But Yahweh has not forgotten his people, nor the evil deeds of these nations. A day of judgment is coming, when Yahweh Shai will return in power to execute vengeance upon those who have afflicted his people. The world will not remain in the hands of the wicked, for righteousness will be restored, and the earth will be cleansed. After judgment, the righteous government of Israel will be established, ruling under Yahweh Shai. The nations will submit, and the world will finally experience true peace, justice, and harmony. The wicked rulers who once spread oppression and lies will be removed, and Yahweh's laws will be enforced over all creation. The judgment of the nations that oppressed Israel. The scriptures repeatedly declare that the nations that oppressed Israel will be punished. These heathen nations have ruled with greed and cruelty, taking pleasure in the suffering of Yahweh's chosen people. A. The wrath of Yahweh upon the heathen. Isaiah 14:1-2. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh, for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. The same nations that enslaved, murdered, and exploited Israel will now be brought into subjection. The roles will be reversed. Israel will rule, and the heathen will serve. B. Yahweh Shai's return in judgment. Revelation 19:11-15. And I saw heaven opened, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew, but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahweh. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahweh. When Yahweh Shai returns, he will bring destruction upon the wicked nations. This is not a gentle arrival. It is a war of divine vengeance. The evil rulers of the earth will be overthrown, and Yahweh Shai will establish his dominion over all nations. Chapter: The Fall of Babylon and the Wicked Powers. Revelation 18:4-6. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. This Babylonian system, which represents the wicked rulership of this world, will be completely destroyed. The nations will pay for their crimes against Israel, and their power will be stripped away forever. The world will be a better place under Yahweh Shai. After the wicked are removed, the earth will be renewed under the righteous rule of Yahweh Shai and his elect. The law of Yahweh will be the foundation of all governance, bringing true peace, justice, and righteousness. A. Righteousness shall reign. Isaiah 2:2-3. And it shall come to pass in the last days, that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. The nations will no longer follow their corrupt ways. They will seek to learn the laws of Yahweh. The righteous rule of Israel will establish a just and moral world. B. Peace will cover the earth. Isaiah 11:6-9. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. And the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh, as the waters cover the sea. The violence, war, and destruction of the current world will come to an end. The earth will be healed, and even nature itself will be at peace. C. Mankind will rejoice in the new world under Yahweh Shai. Zechariah 14:9. And Yahweh shall be king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Yahweh, and his name one. All of mankind will acknowledge the righteous rule of Yahweh and his Son, Yahweh Shai. There will be no more confusion, no more false religions, and no more corrupt governments. D. Evil will no longer oppress the earth. Revelation 21:4. And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. The wicked system of this world, which thrives on bloodshed, greed, and suffering, will be gone forever. The earth will be renewed, and Yahweh's people will finally experience joy, peace, and everlasting righteousness. Conclusion. The nations that oppressed Israel will receive their judgment, and the wicked rulers of the earth will be overthrown. Yahweh Shai will return in power, destroying the corrupt governments and establishing his righteous kingdom. Under his rule, the world will flourish. The earth will be restored, righteousness will reign, and mankind will experience true peace for the first time in history. Evil will no longer oppress the earth, and Yahweh's law will be the foundation of all nations. All praises to Yahweh through his Son, Yahweh Shai.